So the question of the day is, are you celebrating or are you in agony? Did you have Jamar Chase or did you have Ronald Jones or Ezekiel Elliott? Or maybe you had a combination of the two. What's going on, guys? This is Dave, one half of PNP. This is the final waiver wire Q&A of the season. And I don't anticipate too many folks hopping in here unless they're here to celebrate their fantasy championships or their fantasy heartbreak, because there was a lot of heartbreak. There was folks who lost fantasy championships last night after what Najee Harris did at the end of the game yesterday. So it's all about perspective here. It was a crazy fantasy season to say the least, and the fantasy playoffs was pretty much in a tizzy to say the least going into the once it started with between COVID and a lot of underperforming players on week 15. But now we're here. This is week 18. Nobody should be playing fantasy football this week unless it's daily. But there probably are a couple of leagues here and there that might be that might have teams, right? So that's when I'm here to take some of the questions. Ain't really too many other people you want to play. I think if there's one team you might need to avoid, it would be the Packers of Green Bay. They have clinched the number 1 seed, so they have no reason to play. Everybody else, it appears that they're going to play for now. That could obviously change during the week, depending on the circumstances of that particular team. Like we already know that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have already said they're playing for the 2 seed. So it'll get interesting. I mean, times of games get moved because of it. So it'll get real interesting real fast to find out what the plan is going to be for a lot of these teams. And another thing you guys need to keep an eye on, particularly if you're playing daily or if you're playing underdog fantasy, are the over-unders for certain players, because there might be some players that have incentives, and a lot of teams prefer those players to get their incentives. So that's another thing you can take into account depending on what it is. So I will take your questions. If you guys want to celebrate a fantasy victory, I'm for that as well. I won a league. I was in a 16-team league. Only the top 4 got in this 16-team league, and I came out as the victor last night. I was chomping at the bit because I was going up against Steelers defense, and I had Ronald Jones, but luckily he had Ezekiel Elliott, so I was able that offset the underperformance, so to speak. But in a 16-team league, particularly that one, I made the executive decision to not take a running back until like the 4th or 5th round. And that seemed to be the wise thing to do, because when you're in like a 16-team league, let's say you had the first overall pick, you probably took Christian McCaffrey. You might have took Alvin Kamara. You might have took Derrick Henry. But either way, none of them finished the season, and none of them performed the way they needed to perform. Not like a number 1 overall pick. But then you think about your next pick isn't until the bottom of the 2nd round, which is like 32, 33. So, at that point, there's a lot so your options get super limited. Like sometimes it's not the best route to have the top pick. But my squad was pretty solid, man. I had Devontae Adams, I had Deebo Samuel, I had Josh Allen. My running backs were rotations between Rashad Penny, Ronald Jones. I think at one point I had Rondé Stevenson. I mean, I running backs wasn't the thing. I went 0 RB. Like my RB1 was Chase Edmonds, to put it in perspective. But it was enough to get the title home. So I mean, sometimes that's all that matters. So yeah, I mean, if you're like really desperate of needs, with Damian Harris out, Rondé Stevenson becomes interesting. Justin Fields, if you really need quarterback help. Trey Lance might be available in some leagues, but I doubt it. Cole Kmet gets interesting for tight end. Gabriel Davis for Buffalo. I don't think Buffalo's. They haven't faced their division yet, but they're playing the Jets, so it'll get interesting. Let me see here. I could have told you that Cole Beasley was going to be inconsistent, bro. I didn't trust Cole Beasley. Oh, you didn't win anything yet. You won the week. Oh, it's a 2 week round. Dang, man, your second week's in week 18. Yeah, man, y'all gotta fix that. Y'all gotta fix that, man. And the thing is, because of the additional week in the NFL schedule, it makes it hard. It kind of in the grand scheme of things, it eliminates the 2 week per round playoff format because you want to be done by week 17. And you can't go for it, AJ. And you can't do that because week 14 there's bye weeks. So in essence, you only got 3 weeks to get it right. 15, 16, 17. Because you don't want to be playing in fantasy in the 18th week. That's brutal. That's brutal. Because you got so many factors. Like you got players going for incentives, you got coaches that are going to be score watching so they can make the decision to bring somebody in for a quarter and bench them. I won a championship that way once. There was 1 year that Peyton Manning, I was going up against Peyton Manning, and he only played Peyton Manning for a quarter. And it was great. I ended up winning. So it worked out. Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. David Montgomery, Nick Chubb, Najee Harris, and Singletary need 2. Um, let me check the schedule. Give me a second. I don't want to. Let's see what the schedule's looking like. I have no idea who's playing who. So the Bears are playing. Who are the Bears playing? The Vikings. They're eliminated. But they'll probably play to win. So then we got Nick Chubb against the Browns. And then we got Najee Harris. He's probably playing the Ravens. Steelers are probably playing the Ravens. And Singletary. Devin Singletary going up against the Jets. Give me Montgomery and Najee. Give me those 2. That's that one's kind of tougher than I thought it would be. I will say. Yeah, definitely. I definitely want Montgomery though. Mahomes. This one's Mahomes. This is Mahomes. He's got to play. He's still got a shot at the 1 seed. They're going to probably have the game on at the same time with the Titans. So, yeah, go with Mahomes. I mean, if you're worried about that, then do Herbert because Chargers Raiders is looking like it's going to be win and get in scenario for them. So, they might move that game to Sunday night because of that. So, that's definitely going to be a win and get in situation with Chargers Raiders. And Mahomes is going up against Denver. Mahomes is likely going to try to play the win because they need to get they need the victory. So, yeah. Panthers defense or Ravens defense? Ravens. The Bucs said they're going to play their guys. Yeah, I don't think I would have. I want to go back and look at my rankings and say what I recommended. But I mean, I'm pretty sure I had Jonathan Taylor ahead, but I might have missed it. I might have got that one wrong big time, but I got to check my rankings. But I was very high on Jonathan Taylor. I thought he was a first round grade. But oh, I knew who Taylor was last year. I had high hopes for Jonathan Taylor, man. Now, question of whether or not he'll do a repeat next year, time will tell. But I think he's a strong argument for top 4 next year in 2022. Especially if you're worried about injuries and stuff like that. But historically, man, running backs who end up being the number 1 guy don't be the number 1 guy the following year. So, you're typically gonna get that type of consistency at that position. It's always somebody different. Let me see here. You know what? That's a good point. You know what? Go with Herbert. And that way you ain't got to worry about somebody getting pulled because Herbert's definitely going to play the whole game, barring injury, obviously. So for this question, go with Herbert. Because, it's about being risk averse in the finals. And it's a different type of sweat. Because I'm pretty confident that game between the Raiders and the Chargers is going to get pushed back to Sunday night. Yeah, man. I always joke about when do you go 0 running back? And I always feel like the best time to go 0 running back is when you're in a big league. Like if you got more than 14 teams, going 0 running back might actually be beneficial to you because you could potentially take advantage in multiple positions. But it's also a risk because then you're going to be starting some randoms. Give me Debo because Debo definitely going to have to play the whole game because San Fran's got to beat the Rams to get in. And give me Hunter Renfrow for the same reason. So give me Debo and Hunter. We don't know what Mike Evans' injury situation is going to be. He might not play. He might not play the whole game. He's still nursing an injury. Although, man, Evans is going to be interesting because he's probably going to get a bulk of the target share with Antonio Brown gone and things of that sort. But you would hope that Carolina will be able to shut down Mike Evans, don't you? But we'll see. We shall see. We shall see. Saints, Colts, Titans. Saints defense got something to play for this week. Pull back up the schedule. Saints playing the Falcons, and Saints still got a chance to make the playoffs. One trend that you're noticing, if you haven't noticed yet, I tend to lean towards teams that are absolutely going to play all 4 quarters. Like there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like everything that you're hearing now is coach speak, and you can kind of bank on the coach speak. But the reality of the matter is that you're going to have to use your own instincts and think about who definitely has to play all 4 quarters. You got incentives, and then you got folks who are going to play all 4 quarters, and the Saints are going to play all 4 quarters. The Titans are more like is going to probably play all 4 quarters because the Titans are trying to get home field advantage. The Colts could rest their people potentially. So I hope you don't have Jonathan Taylor, buddy. It's been kind of quiet in Colts Town, but they already clinched the playoff spot, and they really can't move. Titans are the 1 seed, and there's no way for them to get to the 1 seed or win the division. So I mean, the Colts could potentially rest. So who are the Titans playing? They're either playing Jacksonville or Houston. I think they're playing Jacksonville. Ooh, I think I would probably go with Titans defense if they're playing Jacksonville. Who are the Titans playing? Am I tripping? They're playing Houston. That ain't gonna be as easy as you think it's gonna be. Give me the Saints against the Falcons. Yeah, give me the Saints against the Falcons there. Because that defense is gonna have to play lights out all 4 quarters. All right. This is gonna be a short one, man. And I'm thankful because now I can go play some Halo. Because I'm gonna try to get some other things done tonight. Let's see here. Are there any good over unders? Let me see what underdog fantasy talking about. Oh, I just realized Kansas City and Denver are playing Saturday. Not too many players up there yet. Not yet. All right. I knew this was going to be a light one because most folks' fantasy leagues have ended. So hit me up on Twitter if you got any questions at champd1012. And give me Chubb. I'll take Chubb here. Yeah, so you can follow me there. If you got any questions there, I will answer them. And I am still going to go live this Sunday at 11 o'clock to do the fantasy Q&A. But I know like most leagues, they ended on week 17. So I anticipated it being light this week. So I will talk to you guys soon. You guys have a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed your new year. And I'll see you at 11 o'clock on Sunday. Peace.